In today's world, it moves so fast.
Right.
And it's almost become this weird badge of honor, hasn't it?
Yeah.
To say, oh, yeah, I powered through, got all this done
Yeah.
on like 4 hours of sleep.
Right. We hear that all the time.
We push, we hustle. But here's the thing, and this comes straight from the sources you sent us today. Skipping sleep consistently.
Yeah.
It isn't a flex. It's actually a fast track to burnout.
Yeah. It really undermines everything else you're trying to do.
Exactly. And you, our listener, you've curated some really great material for us. We're diving into sleep, the underrated superpower, from a few different angles. Plus, we've got crucial insights on 9 crucial women's health issues that deserve attention and a look into holistic health practitioners.
Some really interconnected topics there.
Totally. So our mission today, but let's unpack these things. They're often overlooked, but they're fundamental to well-being. We want to pull out the key knowledge nuggets because, let's face it, surviving isn't really the goal.
Thriving is. That's exactly right. And it's the perfect way to frame it. Sleep, like our sources are saying, it's a biological necessity. It's tied so deeply to our overall health.
But we push it down the list, don't we?
We absolutely do. It gets relegated to the bottom like it's optional. And what's really interesting from the material you provided is how this thinking, well, it often carries over to other crucial health areas, especially for women.
Yeah.
Yeah, issues that get overlooked or misdiagnosed, sometimes even just dismissed. But this deep dive isn't just about pointing out the problems. It's also about looking at, comprehensive solutions.
Okay.
The whole idea of holistic and integrative health, which we'll get into, it offers this patient-centered way to look at the root causes of these connected challenges, moving beyond just treating symptoms.
Right, getting underneath it all.
Exactly. So hopefully by the end of this, you'll have some real actionable insights, things that might genuinely change how you view and handle your own health. And, always important, critical thinking is key in this world of information overload.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's zero in on that first idea. Sleep as a non-negotiable investment. Because honestly, the more you learn about what actually happens when you sleep, it really does seem like a superpower.
It totally is.
The sources make it so clear. It's not just resting. It's this deep, multi-layered rejuvenation. Impacts everything. Metabolism, brain power, physical fitness.
It's not passive at all. Think of sleep like your body's master conductor. It's leading this really complex symphony of hormones.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and our sources point out how growth hormone, which is vital for muscle repair, tissue growth, it actually peaks during your deepest sleep stages.
Didn't know that.
And a really good example of this hormone balance is leptin and ghrelin. You've probably heard of them.
A hunger hormone.
Exactly. Leptin, the I'm full signal, goes up while you sleep. Ghrelin, the I'm hungry one, goes down. That balance is just crucial for feeling satisfied and having healthy eating patterns the next day.
So when you're constantly cutting sleep short, it's like
Yeah,
the conductor just drops the baton.
pretty much.
The whole symphony descends into chaos, which leads to more cravings, a messed up metabolism, makes weight management way harder.
Precisely. And that's just one piece. While you're asleep, your brain, it's doing some incredible work. It's consolidating memories, processing information from the day, and literally removing waste products. It's like a deep clean and a file reorganization for your mental hard drive.
I love that analogy, a deep clean for the brain. So it's not just idling, it's actively defragging itself.
Exactly.
Optimizing.
So when you are sleep deprived, what's the immediate hit? What do you feel?
Well, the studies are really clear. Sleep deprivation tanks cognitive function significantly.
Oh, so?
You'll notice it in your memory, your concentration slips, your decision-making isn't as sharp, it's not just feeling a bit foggy. Your performance genuinely slows down and errors creep in.
Right.
So prioritizing sleep just ensures your brain is firing on all cylinders. You can think clearly, tackle problems better. Makes sense. And for anyone listening who's maybe into fitness, exercise, sleep isn't just mental, right? It's huge for physical recovery.
Oh, absolutely essential. Think of it like your body's dedicated pit crew working the night shift.
Oh, okay.
During deep sleep, your body is busy repairing muscle tissue, strengthening the immune system, releasing key hormones for growth and recovery. If you skip that vital repair time,
You feel it the next day.
you feel sluggish, sore, and you're actually much more susceptible to injuries. It's foundational for athletic performance and just general physical well-being.
It's fascinating how it all connects, this ripple effect. Good sleep strengthens your immune system, lowers stress, helps regulate emotions.
Reduces the risk of chronic diseases, too. Things like heart disease, diabetes, depression.
It's a real domino effect of good health outcomes. Now, the good news is it doesn't have to be super complicated to reclaim your sleep, right?
Mm.
The sources suggest some simple but powerful tweaks.
Yeah, definitely.
What's one that jumps out to you?
You know, one of the most effective but often the hardest for people is consistency. Ah, the schedule.
Exactly. Sticking to a sleep schedule. Going to bed and waking up around the same time every day, even weekends. It can fundamentally reset your body clock, your circadian rhythm.
Yeah, respecting that internal clock.
Mm-hmm.
And that ties into the other practical stuff. Ditching screens before bed, that's massive. Aiming for, what, an hour or two? Or at least 30 minutes?
Or using blue light blockers if you absolutely have to be on a device.
Right. And then intentionally winding down, giving yourself maybe 30 minutes for something relaxing, reading, a warm bath.
Yeah, signaling to your body it's time to slow down. And getting morning sunlight within the first hour of waking.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Even just 10 minutes.
10 minutes can make a huge difference. And the sources even mentioned for an extra boost, try it barefoot on the grass, no glasses.
Interesting. Why barefoot?
Grounding, maybe. But mostly, the sunlight itself is incredibly powerful for regulating that body clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that morning light tells your body, okay, time to be alert, which actually helps you wind down better later that night.
Full circle. And finally, your bedroom environment. Making it a real sleep sanctuary. Think cool, dark, quiet.
What temperature did the sources suggest?
Around 60, 62 degrees Fahrenheit seems to be the sweet spot. Use blackout curtains, maybe a white noise machine if you need it. These little environmental tweaks can have a big impact.
Yeah, I used to be one of those people, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah.
But looking at this material, it really hammers home that, well, death might come a lot quicker if you don't prioritize sleep. It's a total perspective shift.
Okay, so we've established sleep is basically a superpower. But you mentioned earlier, our sources also show that just like we overlook sleep, a lot of critical health issues, particularly for women, they often go unrecognized, sometimes until it's quite late.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the key takeaways from the listener material on that front?
That's such a crucial pivot. The information you provided really highlights that women face these unique health risks that often fly under the radar. What's really striking is heart disease. It's the leading killer of women.
Yes. And yet, it's frequently misdiagnosed because the symptoms can be quite atypical compared to men.
Atypical how? Because most people think, crushing chest pain for a heart attack.
Exactly. But for women, it might be nausea, shortness of breath, maybe extreme fatigue, or even pain in the upper back or jaw, things you might not immediately associate with your heart.
Okay.
And what's more, the sources point out there's been this historical bias, unfortunately. Medical research on heart disease often focused more on men.
Which means less understanding of women's symptoms.
Precisely. It contributes to this lack of recognition, which is why self-advocacy becomes so incredibly important for women.
That's really sobering.
Yeah.
What about specific cancers mentioned in the sources?
Breast and cervical cancer are definitely highlighted. Women naturally have a higher risk for breast cancer, partly due to estrogen and progesterone levels.
Right.
And cervical cancer, as the sources detail, is strongly linked to HPV, the human papillomavirus. Specifically, certain high-risk strains like HPV 16 and 18, they affect how cervical cells replicate.
So the message there is early detection.
Absolutely vital. Regular mammograms, pap smears, they are critical lifesavers.
And thinking about mental health, there's a really deep connection with hormonal balance for women, isn't there?
Oh, completely. Hormonal shifts during the menstrual cycle, pregnancy, postpartum, menopause, they can significantly impact anxiety and depression.
And other conditions, too.
Yeah, things like PCOS or thyroid disorders can also play a big role in mood disturbances. But a key insight here is the stigma and misdiagnosis.
How so?
Mental health concerns in women are sometimes just brushed off as, oh, she's just being moody or it's just stress, and that can seriously delay getting proper treatment and support.
Yeah, it sounds like women might often hear, it's all in your head, which must make diagnosing something complex like an autoimmune disease even tougher.
Exactly. Autoimmune conditions, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, MS, they disproportionately affect women. These are where the immune system mistakenly attacks the body's own tissues.
And they're hard to pin down.
Notoriously difficult because symptoms like fatigue, joint pain, brain fog, they overlap with so many other things. Many women report being told it's just stress for years before getting an actual diagnosis.
Wow.
What's interesting, though, is that hormones, especially estrogen and progesterone, seem to offer some protection against certain autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis,
Really?
which might explain why symptoms can sometimes worsen postpartum or during menopause when those hormone levels drop significantly.
So the body's own protective shields are shifting.
Okay.
Okay. And then there are reproductive health issues central to women's lives,
Yeah.
like endometriosis or PCOS.
Yes, and these have a huge impact on fertility and just overall quality of life. Endometriosis affects about, 10% of women of reproductive age, often overlooked despite causing severe pain, potential infertility.
10% is a lot.
It is. And PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, that's chronic. Irregular periods, problems with ovulation, making conception difficult, plus metabolic impacts. The common theme, again, is often delayed diagnosis, not enough understanding.
We also need to touch on bone health. Osteoporosis comes up.
Right. Women are definitely more vulnerable there, mainly because of the drop in estrogen during menopause. Estrogen is crucial for keeping bones dense.
So that decline leads to higher fracture risk later on.
Exactly, and chronic pain.
Yeah.
And menopause itself, that's a massive transition. The estrogen decline triggers hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, major sleep disturbances, even cognitive changes.
Yeah.
And yet, despite affecting literally all women, there's often a real lack of education and support. So many women just struggle through it in silence.
And the time right after childbirth, postpartum, also critical.
Truly critical. Postpartum complications are serious infections, blood clots, internal bleeding, hormonal chaos. Those weeks after birth are vital for recovery.
And care is often lacking.
Comprehensive postpartum care, including mental health checks, is absolutely essential, but yeah, tragically, often inadequate.
Okay, one last area here. Sexual health. Any specific vulnerabilities for women highlighted in the sources?
Yes. Anatomically, women are more vulnerable to STIs. The vaginal lining is thinner than male genital tissue, so infections can sometimes spread more easily to the upper reproductive tract.
And symptoms aren't always obvious.
That's a huge issue. Many STIs in women are asymptomatic. They don't show clear signs, which means long-term, undetected infections can happen, leading to severe consequences down the line.
So, again, prevention and screening are key.
Crucial. Regular screenings, vaccinations like the HPV vaccine, and safe sex practices.
Wow. Okay, these insights really underscore the need for proactive health measures for women and just more awareness from everyone, really. And this leads us perfectly into that third area our listener flagged, holistic and integrative health. You mentioned earlier it aims to address root causes.
Yeah.
How do our sources really expand on that, especially considering all these complex issues we've just discussed?
Yeah, it's the ideal transition, isn't it? Because understanding these complex women's health issues, even the details of sleep, it really shows why just managing symptoms often falls short. Our sources use this great analogy. Think of a tree with wilting leaves.
Okay.
You can trim the dry edges, sure, and it looks better for a bit, but that's temporary relief. True healing, like nourishing the tree's roots, means nurturing the whole person, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, all of it.
So it's about looking past just the immediate symptom, like, say, a hot flash.
Exactly.
And trying to figure out what's really going on at a deeper systemic level. Like, why is this happening?
Precisely. Holistic practitioners really dig deep to find and address the root causes of illness, not just paint over the visible signs. The goal is long-lasting health, not just quick fixes.
And it can potentially reduce reliance on medications.
In some cases, yes, by improving foundational health. And definitely it improves overall quality of life by considering the bigger picture. It's not about replacing conventional care, but complementing it beautifully.
Building health from the ground up, not just patching holes.
You got it. Building foundational health.
So after all this, what does it all mean for you? Think about this. We live in a world that often measures success by how much you hustle, what you produce externally. But this deep dive really shows that true superpowers, real lasting wellness, it comes from within. It comes from prioritizing these fundamental, often ignored parts of just being human, of our biology. So the question becomes, how might you redefine success in your own life? How can you make sure those non-negotiable investments in your sleep and your unique health needs, maybe exploring a holistic approach, how do you put those right at the very top of your priority list? So you're not just surviving, but actually truly thriving.